Hey guys, welcome to the Truth Factor where we do headlines with an attitude. We got so much going on, guys. It's not even funny. These streams are getting harder and harder to pull together. Um, but we have quite a few articles I'm going to try and get through rather quickly, but some things that are definitely taking place that I feel like we need to look at. We have Azerbaijan launches a new invasion on Armenia. Russia dismantles Ukraine, NATO, blah, blah, blah. Um, army there in Ukraine. Uh, anyway, BRICS in a nuclear strike on the dollar and the West. Then we also have zero hedge. Pentagon aborts a flight test. First hypersonic missile lasts a minute and cause is unknown. And then we also have a George ordering Texas remove floating border buoys. There we go. Buoys next Friday. Ugh, you guys, you know how hard it is sometimes. Anyway, hundreds of fish killed in a creek that empties into the Arkansas. I think to me that's very concerning. And then we also have the health organization issuing a grave warning. And then we have that the government may block access to life-saving drugs. Also very concerning. And then the controversial mask mandate in Maryland. We also have the researchers are saying explosion of cancer cases among young people may be linked to red meat, salt, and alcohol. Then we have end time headlines also with the Texas power grid entered an emergency mode last night to avoid rolling blackouts. Then we also have for your eyes section, the Gateway pundit. Enrique Tarot tells all after the sentencing. Fed asked. Former Trump advisor, Dr. Peter Navarro, convicted criminal. CDC sleeper damaged the CD. Keep jabbing boosters from Natural News. And we also have Daily Mail, Hunter Biden's crazy life, Dad's shadow, and Joe and the impeachment. So those are the articles that we have for this afternoon. So we're just going to get right into these articles. Hey, MG, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay. And I got to kind of make this as quickly as possible because we have somewhere we have to be by 7 o'clock and it takes us about 30 minutes to get there. So hi there, Watchman. How are you, brother? So I'm going to kind of go as quickly as I can through these articles, but get this information out as quickly as possible. I also have my event list up here. Just a few things that happened that I really wanted to talk about. I did not get articles for these things. So it's just a mention, right? In India, there was more than 3,200 dengue cases reported in Bengaluru, I guess, in 2 months. And that was today. Also, the Dominican Republic reports in cases in dengue. So guys, I could see that this is getting to be, huge. We also have down here, there was something else. The Philippines, 6 Reds killed in Bohol encounter, and 28 injured in maneuver violence of a crowd of 30,000 defies curfew. And Pakistan 12, I don't know what this one, how come it broke it up, but anyway, Pakistan 12 terrorists killed as army repels TTP attack in Chitrel. Then we have, there was something else here, guys. Right here, the hundreds of fish killed in a creek that empties into the Arkansas River. And this is where I got that article that we are going to cover because I feel like it's very important, guys. But let's get into some of these articles. We have Azerbaijan is launching a new invasion of Armenia. Israel and Turkey set up airlift of weapons, double ultimatum Iran. The Caucasus region is on a brink of widespread conflict as Azerbaijan moved thousands of troops to the border with tanks, artillery, and armed vehicles and called up 10,000 reservists. In the last 48 hours, an airlift has been set up to transport weapon systems from Turkey and Israel to Azerbaijan, forcing Iran to issue a double warning to Baku that it will not allow geopolitical changes to the deterrent of Armenia. The Air Force of Azerbaijan has received a new batch of Bayraktar TB2 unmanned aerial vehicles from Turkey in order to use them in the upcoming invasion of Armenia. A Silkway Airlines 276 TD transported the drones from Ankara to the Yavaka base. Let's see, we're going to try and just get the highlighted stuff here. I don't want to get too much into this, but can see there's lots of videos. Hakan Fidan, Turkish foreign minister, was informed of Iran's clear position against any hostile actions of the northwestern border and against the territorial integrity of Armenia. Israel's supports for the Baku regime could cost Alvi dearly. The territorial integrity of Armenia must be preserved, and this will be done at any cost. In fact, a second video, Iran threatens Azerbaijan that it will allow Armenia to occupy the Azeri enclave of Nakhchivan in the event of war. Armenia today accused Azerbaijan of preparing a military provocation by building up Azeri military forces along the border between the two Caucasus rivals and near the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh enclave. The situation of Azerbaijan's border with Armenia and the dividing line with Nagorno-Karabakh is explosive, said Armenia Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. According to him, Azerbaijan has gathered a large military group in this region. Azerbaijan expresses its intention to launch a new military provocation against Nagorno. The situation is such that the international community, the member states of the UN Security Council, must take serious measure to prevent a new explosion in the region. The military and political situation in our region has clearly worsened. Armenia must abandon its territorial claims against Azerbaijan in military political provocations and stop creating obstacles to the peace process. Let's see if there's anything else. Azerbaijan will launch an anti-terrorist operation in Nagorno, as Armenia does not want to withdraw its armed forces from there. Earlier in the day, Armenia Prime Minister Nikol said a troop buildup was being observed of the dividing line with Nagorno. Pashinyan believes that the situation is explosive. I admit that there will be hostilities. Most likely it will be counterterrorism operation and peace informant operation because there is no other option. Lots of little videos for everybody to go watch. This is in the Wixit in the description in the box below, guys. Some lovely maps, and that's all that it has to say about this Azerbaijan conflict. Then we also have from War News 247, the Russians dismantled the NATO-Ukraine military junction on the Danube. The ports of Izmail and Kilai were erased from the map. Chain explosions. The Russians launched a fourth consecutive attack in 5 days in the Ukrainian ports of Donetsk, wiping Izmail and Kalia off the map. Video captures repeated explosions at a port infrastructure as well as a military target, weapons, shipments, fuel depots, etc. The ports in the Izmail and Kilo, Odessa region were completely destroyed by the strikes of Goran 2 of the Russian army. Ukrainian intelligence sources report the destruction of the port infrastructure. The Russian Defense Ministry said that Goran 2s destroyed fuel storage facilities used to supply military equipment to the armed forces of Ukraine at the port of Ren. In addition, a large dump port of Izmail of the Odessa region was attacked again. This facility is constantly used by armed forces of Ukraine to ship fuel, weapons, and ammunition under the guise of sea transport of agricultural products. The aim of the Russians to dismantle the military hub that NATO has created in the region. According to the Russian intelligence service, the armed forces of Ukraine have turned the dump ports into a major transshipment points. Large stocks of fuel, weapons, and ammunition are gathered here, which are transported in various directions. Let's see. Oh, hurry. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so I guess they're saying that they have really destroyed it. There's quite a few videos you guys can look at. I mean, you can just see the stuff on fire there, guys. All right. Then we have from War News 247, the nuclear strike on the dollar and the West. Russia introduces BRICS currency. It will be based on the golden rule and natural resources. See images. Okay, guys. So we're going to look at this article. Hey, Seeker, how are you, honey? Good to see you. Hey, Ryan, how are you, honey? All of this stuff is just is like bam, bam, bam. So, you know, we're going to see, I think, some more things take place just because we can't keep our eyes focused on what really is happening. There's going to be distraction. Russia has released the first images of the BRICS currency to be released, causing shock in the West and concern in the U.S. This move is equivalent to a nuclear blow to the dollar and a global financial system. The world is again divided into West and East with two different systems of economic transactions. Information states that especially the UAE and Saudi Arabia are celebrating the development as the currency will be linked to oil. And this means for these states a disconnection from the dollar and the American hegemony. The move to a gold-backed trading currency will undermine the dollar's purchasing power, leading to higher oil prices and gas prices, particularly as depleted Western reserves need to be replenished ahead of the Northern Hemisphere's winter's month. We remind you that BRICS Group initially invited Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, and the United Arab Emirates to join the bloc. New members will be officially accepted on January 1st, 2024. The Russian ambassador to the Republic of South Africa, Ilya Rogachev, presented the 100 BRICS coin for the first time. The Russian ambassador handed over the bank note to his UAE ambassador on the occasion of the Middle Eastern states' ascension to BRICS. It is emphasized that a 100 BRICS banknote was printed in Russia. On the side of the banknote are the flags of the 5 BRIC countries, while on the reverse side are the symbols of the countries included in the bloc. It is not yet known exactly when the BRICS single currency will be launched, but all reports indicate that this will happen very soon. According to economists, the introduction of the single BRICS currency will significantly weaken the role of the dollar in world trade. The Russian ambassador to South Africa presented to a 100 BRICS banknote to the UAE ambassador in Pretoria, Iran's IRNA news agency reported. The note also bears the inscription BRICS New Development Bank and lists both the members of the organization and all candidate members. There it is. According to the commodity market expert Alistair MacLeod, gold reserves need to cover the issuance of the banknotes. With gold bullion having migrated eastwards in a huge quantities in recent decades, there is a little scope for the Western Alliance and its spheres of influence to back their own currencies. All the jitters coming from the emerging economic access of Russia and China are leading to a new gold-linked trade settlement currency proposed at the BRICS summit in Johannesburg. Until the details are revealed, all we can conclude is that Russia is leading this venture, suggested by Sergei Glaziev. Large gold reserves allow Russia to pursue foreign economic policy and minimizes dependence on external creditors. The amount of gold reserve affects the country's reputation, credit worthiness, and investment attractiveness. Large reserves allow you to plan the state budget for a long time for buying a lot of economic and political risk. And that is, we used to, lead it with a gold back here in the United States that they did away with to have fiat money that, really is backed by nothing. Anyway, we also have, yesterday we covered an article about the missile test, and we're hearing that The U.S. military canceled a planned test launch of new hypersonic missile system announced at the last minute on the day it was supposed to happen on Wednesday. It remains unclear what happened to cause the Department of Defense to abort the test, but the DoD put out this statement on September 6th. The department planned to conduct a flight test at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, Florida, to inform our hypersonic technology development. As a result of pre-flight checks, the test did not occur. Let's see. The same publication said that no reason for the cancellation was given from the military. Let's see. Still, the Pentagon sought to emphasize some positive that valuable data was gained from the pre-launch phase. If explained that even without the flight test, it was able to successfully collect data on the performance of the ground hardware and software that will inform the continued progress toward fielding offensive hypersonic weapons. So this says that the decision to abort raises questions about the program scheduled and whether the U.S. Army can meet its goal of declaring the weapon initially combat capable by September 30th. Hypersonic speed is generally defined as a projectile that can reach Mach 5 or greater. Russia's own Kinzhal is purported to travel at a Mach 10 speeds in an unpredictable flight path, making it nearly impossible for even the most advanced missiles defense shields to shoot down. Anyway. Kind of crazy, guys. Yep, that doesn't deter anyone over there, does it? Just saying. Not good. Then we heard, I think, a little bit about this yesterday. A judge orders the Texas to remove the floating border buoys by next Friday and win for Biden DOJ. A federal judge on Wednesday ordered Texas to remove the floating border buoys along its border river with Mexico, designed to deter migrants from crossing. Citing a threat to human life and safe navigation, the U.S. District Judge David Ezra ruled that the buoys likely require congressional authorization and a federal permit based on Rivers and Harbors Appropriation Act of 1899. Which granted the Biden administration's request for the preliminary injunction. The floating barrier, constructed in an attempt to obstruct movement across the river, is made up roughly of 1,000 feet, 4-foot spherical buoys connected by heavy metal cables. In early August, Texas state troopers found a dead body lodged in the buoys. The harm to the navigation is clearly evident from the evidence presented. In response, the Biden DOJ praised the decision. And then we have thousands of illegals from crossing. Lawyers of the state hit back in Wednesday's filing to appeal the ruling, while the governor said today's court decision merely prolongs Biden's willful refusal to acknowledge that Texas is rightfully stepping up to do the job that he should be doing. Anyway, I hate to kind of just, it's horrible, that Texas is trying to battle the immigration policy all by themselves without the help of the federal government, right? Anyway, let's check in over here, guys. They have a clone army? I'm sure they do. Hi, Miss Helen. How are you? How is Daryl doing? Wow. I will have to take a look at that, Daryl. I'll go back. I'm going to make a note, and we'll see what I can find. Clone army. We will look. And you said April 5th, 2016. I will definitely look that up, brother. You are so welcome. Okay, so then this next article, I mean, this is pretty, crazy. Hundreds of fish killed in the creek that empties into a Arkansas river. Let's see if we can follow. No, it's not going to give it to me. Oh, here it is. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Hundreds of dead fish have been found dead in a mill creek, which empties into the Arkansas River. After receiving calls to the newsroom, 4029 began conducting their own investigation. The section of Mill Creek where the fish were found is at Riverfront Drive and P Street. It's also where the sewer treatment plant empties into the creek before it flows into the Arkansas River. People we talked to say at one point the creek was covered with dead fish. 4029 News made calls to the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, which prompted them to launch their own investigation. Ethan Angel with the AGFC says anytime that this many fish die off, especially in a public waterway, they have to do something about it. Angel says sometimes ponds turn over and get algae bloom, which causes the water to lose oxygen. But since the creek is flowing and it's connected to the Arkansas River, he doesn't believe the lack of oxygen to be the cause of the death of those hundreds of fish. The AGFC and the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality will test the water. Angel said the biologist will come down. They'll do a fish kill count and investigate from there. The city of Fort Smith says that there have been no recent issues with the sewer treatment facility. Water testing should begin on Wednesday. Somebody needs to be doing some serious water testing, I would say, right? To have hundreds of fish dead just all of a sudden, that's kind of crazy. I don't know about y'all. I don't like that. Pretty bad. Then we also have from End Time Headlines. Here we go again. The World Health Organization just sounded a major alarm over the concerning CD wave coming this winter as death soar. The World Health Organization, the WHO, has warned of concerning trends for the 19 ahead of winter as dangerous new strain runs rampant across the northern hemisphere. The UN Health Agency estimates that hundreds of thousands of people around the world are currently hospitalized with the virus. However, the true number could be much higher because many countries have stopped reporting the C data. We continue to see concerning trends for the C-19 ahead of the winter season in the northern hemisphere, WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus told us online press conference. He added that deaths are increasing in some parts of the Middle East and Asia. Intensive care unit admissions are increasing in Europe, and hospitalizations are increasing in several regions. America has been seeing a surge in cases as new variants designated the BA 2.86 gains a foothold in the country as winter approaches. According to a recent bulletin in Yale Medicine, the new variant has more than 30 mutations to its spike protein located on the outer surface of the virus, which helps it enter and infect human cells. Such a high number of mutations is notable, infectious disease specialist Dr. Scott Roberts said. When we went from Omicron variant XBB 1.5 to the Ares EG5, that was maybe one or two mutations, but these massive shifts, which we also saw from Delta to Omicron, are worrisome. According to the recent bulletin in Yale Medicine, the new variant has more than 30 mutations to its spike protein located on the outer surface of the virus, which helps it enter and infect human cells. Such a high number of mutations is notable, infectious disease specialist Dr. Scott Roberts said. When we went from Omicron, that was made one or two, but these massive shifts, which we saw in the Delta, are worrisome. Why do they repeat the same thing? I don't know. Anyway, I guess they want you to know what they're worrisome. Kind of crazy, right? But then we also have from Zero Hedge that Dr. Thorpe, the government may block access to life-saving drugs in another lockdown. This is concerning, guys. The independent media outlets are confirming one of our biggest fears, that the Biden administration is preparing for the possibility of new C lockdowns in a response to rising numbers. As Dr. Peter McAuliffe wrote this week, there is no doubt we are starting another outbreak of this 19, this time Omicron variants, the EG/FL 151 taking the lead in the proportions. Dr. McAuliffe warns that this surge could last 3 to 6 months. As we learned time and time again during the pandemic, our government will increase the CD numbers as justification to force mass lockdowns and the V passports on the American people. From the Gateway pundit to Steve Bannon's War Room to InfoWars, the independent media sources you learned to trust during the last C outbreak are warning that the lockdowns could be returning. The Biden regime has begun procuring the C-19 equipment and hiring advisors on safety protocols, according to an exclusive report from the War Room. This comes amidst the increasing speculation at the White House might be preparing to reinstate the pandemic-era lockdowns. The Gateway pundit previously reported that the Biden regime is preparing to reinstate full 19 lockdowns, beginning with masking mandates for TSA and airport employees, reportedly as early as mid-September. InfoWars first to report. We know that lockdown masks and the sleever passports don't work, and it's clear that despite the failure of these policies before, that our government is planning a repeat of this catastrophic failures. Now, leading truth tellers like Dr. Jim Thorpe are warning that another round of these lockdowns could lead to another round of banning critical medications. The government may block access to life-saving drugs in another lockdown in the same way that the restricted access to ivermectin in the last pandemic. Now more than ever, you need to be stockpiling these medications. It is clear we need to act, but the question is, where can we secure the critical life-saving medication when we can? That's where the wellness company comes in. You know, the wellness company, that courageous doctor like Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Jim Thorpe are regularly in the media speaking out against a broken medical establishment. Dr. Thorpe is making clear on how. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this here, all of this stuff here for you, so you guys can finish reading it. But I would say whatever preparations you can have just in case, you know. I mean, no, Miss Mary, I haven't. I haven't had a chance to get on Telegram for one, and I haven't been on Twitter for another. And that's usually where I find leads to things like that. But I have not right now. I have not. But if you have a good article that you want me to look up, I definitely will. I have just a few more minutes before I have to hurry, skedaddle out of here. So I'm going to try and get through these articles. And here is a controversial mask mandate issued at the Maryland Elementary School after the CD. An elementary school in Silver Spring is facing backlash over its mask mandates. Now the Montgomery County Public School is responding to the concerns. This week, a letter went home to families in Rosemary Hills saying 3 students in a classroom tested positive. The letter posted on social media states that K95 masks have been distributed to students and staff in the affected classroom, and they're required to wear the mask for the next 10 days. At-home rapid test kits are also being sent home and made available for students. Rosemary Hills Elementary School's principal Rebecca Irwin Kennedy also provided CD information to families, urging them to test at least 5 days after exposure. The letter from Kennedy went home on September 5th, which means the masking, if it continues, would be required at least through September 15th. The reaction in social media to the protocol was mostly negative. When Fox 5 asked Montgomery County's Superintendent Monif McKnight about the issue, she said, "We recognize that students are back in school and the health and the safety of our students is the uttermost priority. When there is an outbreak, we have protocols that we have put in place. We may, in some cases, ask students to mask. If so, we communicate with those communities in particular to let them know why and what the process would be. Our concern would be if we start seeing a lot of people in the hospital, a lot of people go to ICU, not just in the hospital, but intensive care. And if the death clicks up, then we'll be looking at mandates added the county." Yep. Oh, mercy, guys. They are pushing it hard again in some areas, are they not? Kind of crazy. Got 2 more articles, guys. New research says explosion of cancer cases among young people may be linked to red meat, salt, and alcohol. Something that I'm sure young people don't want to hear. I'm sure they all like every bit of that, right? If you're concerned about your health, you might want to set aside those burgers, steaks, and alcohol for a while. New research suggests an increase in cancer cases among young people could be related to the red meat, salt, and alcohol. A study published Tuesday in the journal BMJ Oncology gives the results of data gathered between 1990 and 2019 that found 79% surge in new cancer cases among people under 50. And over the past 30 years, the researchers used data from the Global Burden of Disease 2019 study and examined the pervasiveness of 29 cancers in the most 200 countries around the world. Focusing on people aged 14 to 49, the team of researchers from Zhejiang University School of Medicine and the University of Edinburgh's Usher Institute looked at the number of new cases, deaths, health repercussions, and risk factors in the target group. Oh, Lord. Anyway, guys, there's a little bit more there, but you get the gist. And, you know, I'm sure they've got some good data there, as they usually do in all things. I would tell you to continue to read on if you're interested in that data. It did look like it had some more information, but like I said, I really have to go. I've got to leave here at 6:15, and I'm like at 6:08. So I'm sorry that I'm rushing here, guys. I hear you. I hear you, Mary. Yeah. Yep. And I really haven't seen anything. And I'm glad Miss Helen says she hasn't seen anything either, because she usually gets around a lot more than I do. Okay. On the information, she gets it first sometimes. I'm always second or last, but I try to stay as in the know as possible. And this happened last night, guys. This Texas power grid entered emergency mode last night to avoid rolling blackouts. The state's power grid operator triggered its emergency operation on Wednesday evening, allowing it to call in all available power generation to stay ahead of demand, and bringing it a step closer to a worst case scenario of ordering rotating power outages. If the Electrical Reliability Council of Texas takes that step, the location and duration of power outages would be controlled by individual electric utilities. For example, CPS Energy President and CEO Rudy Garza in San Antonio said last month, when conditions looked tight, the outages would last between 10 and 15 minutes for their customers. Representatives of other utilities said duration of power outages and whether they would rotate would depend on what they hear from ERCOT. Anyway, guys, I know nobody wants to be in the dark for 15 minutes in the middle of the summer, especially in Texas, guys. Pretty alarming. Anyway, there is the For Your Eyes section, guys, and I hope you guys will check it out. I'm going to drop the link here, but it is in the description box, guys. It is there. So hopefully you guys will get to see those good little tidbits that I gave you. And I love you all. I thank you guys so very much for joining me this afternoon, guys. Like I said, I am sorry. I am in such a hurry. God is good, though. we have somewhere we have to be. Anyway, God bless you all. I love you. And as always, I will be back with Bible a little bit later, guys. I have a good study, I think, tonight. We're going to be Isaiah 47. We're going to talk. We're going to do some talking, guys, some real serious talks tonight, and have some prayer. Anyway, I hope you'll join me for Bible tonight. It shall be good. It'll probably be around 8 o'clock, though, just to let you know, or close to 8 anyway. I love you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. God bless you, and we'll see you later. Bye.